All right, the car is finally packed. The house is pretty much empty and ready for our Airbnbers, and we are ready to hit the door. Super excited to be driving from Oakland, California all the way to Tulum, Mexico. 54 hours. We are going to break the journey down in lots and lots of small increments. We don't even really plan to drive probably more than 5-6 hours per day, only during daylight. The first leg of the journey is going to be mostly California. We're going to stop in a small city called Solvang, spend a few days there, chill out, and then again in Palm Springs before we get to Arizona, where we'll finally cross the border, I believe, in Arizona. So, long journey ahead of us. I definitely hope to gain some new insight during these travels, have a good time, kind of be able to detach, and be able to set up new routes in Tulum is super exciting too. Leaving the Bay Area is something that I've done a couple times in my life. This time, the first time that I'll be crossing borders or moving overseas. So that comes with its own excitements. I've only been to Tulum for maybe 6 days up until now, so it's going to be super exciting to set up roots there and make it home. So me and Scoots are about ready. The dodos are packed away. The car is packed. The Zen treehouse is pretty much empty. Kind of sad to say goodbye to this view, especially. But we will be back. For now, we're excited to just travel the world. All right, peace, you guys. Salute to the guys. The first leg, maybe not so exciting because we'll just be traveling through California and stop at a couple places before we finally get to Arizona. So I'll update you guys periodically and as we make our way to Tulum. All right. Peace. So just as we're saying goodbye to Oakland and the Zen treehouse, first fail of the trip. Dun, dun, dun. All right, we started off our journey, and I guess you could say we kind of took the scenic route. Rather than going inland, which would have shaved a couple hours off our trip, we hit the coastline. We knew the views were going to be stupid, and it didn't disappoint. Trust me, if you're making that trip from North Cal to SoCal, hit the coastline. It won't disappoint. Well, I got your attention. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Keep up with our adventures from Oakland all the way to Tulum, Mexico.
Day 3.
Sure, we are in the first Airbnb of the trip officially. Palm Springs, California. We stopped last night, the last 2 nights actually, in a small city called Solvang. About 4 hours, about 3.5, 4 hour drive to Palm Springs. Airbnb is looking nice. Dodos, you good? You like? Just unpacked at the Airbnb, decided to check out the Palm Springs Airway tram. Oh my God, look how high it goes. I don't know if you guys can see it on this GoPro, but it goes all the way, it looks like to the tip of this mountain here. But wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was gonna be that high. Ready, Scoots? So the floor is rotating.
Oh, watch out for kids.
Scoots is gonna throw it probably. Oh, this thing is fast.
Welcome to Mountain Station. Elevation maintains at 516 feet above sea level. That's 2,595 meters. For those of you wondering about metric. Currently, we have trains departing every 15 minutes for down the mountain. That is subject to change throughout the evening, so please keep an eye out for those announcements. Our last train of the evening goes down at 9:45 tonight. Do not miss that train. That's considered camping. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold on the phone as we approach the dock here. We may
All right, we made it safely. We are here in the San Jacinto Mountain Park 8,516 feet, hella high in the air. We just got off of the Palm Springs aerial tramway. Dope experience. The bottom of the tram was actually rotating, so you didn't have to worry about where you were sitting on the tram. You could actually see all views from the tram. I was a little bit nervous. It was a little bit bumpy as we got higher up into the air. Look, take some time out to adventure, explore the less explored areas of a trail, of the state park, wherever you're at. Wait, you hear that? It's absolutely nothing.
It does smell like butterscotch.
What does it smell like?
Butterscotch.
I don't want to take a bite. We're dope, unexpected trip to the Palm Springs aerial tramway. I never even heard of it before a couple hours ago. And great kickoff to our little road trip. We've been on the road for the last couple of days. Stopped in Solvang, which is a small city a few hours away from Palm Springs. And that was pretty uneventful. Other than the able skeevers, which aren't as good as Parfagers. Palm Springs is unexpectedly a cool little vibe. I've never been here before in my life. Scoots has really fell in love with this place, was almost about to move here at one point in their life. And I'm not mad at it so far. Doing things like this, super unexpected, on the fly, is always our style when we travel. And today, we definitely hit the nail on the head with this one. So if you're in the area, I suggest jumping on the Palm Springs aerial tramway. It's about 23 bucks per person if you're just gonna do the tram, and then they have a package for $36 where it includes some food up at the top of the tram. So that's what we decided to do. So we're getting ready to go get some food. Scoots is still smelling the butterscotch trees. Go ahead, take a bite, Scoots.
Smell amazing.
The food was definitely not worth it, just FYI. That pretty much wrapped up our time on the mountain. We hopped back on the tram just as the sun was starting to set, so the view on the way down was extra dope. It was time to get back to the Airbnb, walk the dodos, and pretty much wrap up our time in Palm Springs. We jumped up early in the morning, trying to get a head start on our next leg of our journey down to Arizona. Later, we are in Tumacari, Arizona, about 30 minutes away from the border. We just checked into our Airbnb, and this is a dope little spot. Road life. Unpack the car just to do it all again tomorrow.
6.5 hours later.
All right, we just finished packing up the Airbnb. Next stop, the Mexico border. All right, this is what we've really been waiting for. We are stopping in a small city tonight called Hermosillo. It's about 4.5 hours away from our location right now, so not too bad of a drive today. This little city here was surprisingly really artsy, had a nice little vibe to it. Definitely didn't feel like we were in Arizona. Last night we went to a little spot called Elvira, which if you're in the area, I highly recommend. The food was super good, so good I didn't even get a chance to get any footage of it because I just ate the shit. It was that serious. So we're on our way to Mexico. Hermosillo is the first stop, and we have many other stops along the journey. We're practically driving all the way through the country. Long journey ahead. Lots more adventures. All right, let's jump in the car. It's time to go. And we are on the road to the border. We have about 20 minutes for crossing. We know, we've done some research. We've watched a lot of you guys' YouTube videos to get just some insight on what to expect. So we created a whole binder that has a lot of our personal information, and I'll give you a look at that in a little bit. Basically, it has copies of our driver's license, our passport. I guess we'll see in a minute here how helpful everything was. So we're getting ready to cross the border, and we're crossing the Nogales border from Tubac, Arizona into Nogales, Mexico. I think I remember seeing this. Yeah, this is the right one, babe. Alright, looks like we're pulling up to the actual inspection part where they'll tell us, either give us the green or the red light, so we're hoping for the green. They said keep going all the way left. If you look across the way, you will see all the folks trying to get back into America. Alright, it is official. We are in Mexico. The permit and visa process only took about 30 minutes, about 20 to 30 minutes, so not as bad as we initially expected. Scoots was able to go and actually get both of our visas, so she went and did that, and as well got our vehicle registration. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, we already got Mexican insurance, so we didn't have to go to another office, which was in the same little area, but we didn't have to go to that. We didn't have to go through that stop. Basically, we took care of that prior to getting here, which I definitely suggest you do that. It would just save you some time.
And copies of everything.
It would just save you some time when you actually get to the registration desk. And then make sure that you have copies of all your documents. They ask to see their originals and sometimes copies as well. So we printed out a bunch of copies of our driver's license, of our registration for our vehicle, and so on and so forth, prior to even leaving the treehouse. So that was super dope to have that all in line. They asked for pretty much everything that we had. So again, I am going to be making a video where I give you a little bit more insight on what exactly it is that you need to bring, what paperwork, if you have pets, what the process is of getting your pets registered, and what you need to bring for your pets, for your vehicles, and so on and so forth. But for now, we are on the road. We're traveling to Hermosillo. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from where we are right now. Merle, you ready? I think Merlin's ready. Come on. All right, so quick check-in. We are leaving Los Mochis right now, headed to Mazatlan. Excuse me, these street tacos are so good. So we spent one night in Hermosillo. Excuse me, 2 nights in Hermosillo. We drove about 4 or 5 hours down to Los Mochis. We stayed in Los Mochis for 1 night, and now we're headed down to Mazatlan to do 1 night, possibly 2 nights, depending. Haven't been recording much. We've been in like high cartel areas, so I haven't really been wanting to just pull the camera out randomly and do like tutorials on the area. Has been quite uneventful, actually. The biggest thing in Los Mochis right now are these street tacos, which we just pulled over on the side of the road. Somebody's grilling tacos. Super bomb. We put the little sauce in bags for us. This hot sauce is probably the best hot sauce I've ever had. Don't even know what it is. But this, oh my God. Best tacos ever. So, munch on these, let the dogs use the bathroom right now at this little park, and get on the road. Excited to start to get to Mazatlan, and after that, Sayulita, which will be a lot more eventful, a lot more things to do and see in the city. So, looking forward to that. A few more days of driving, and we're there. Mexico, you're a real one.
The next day.
I really felt like that when I first drove into Mazatlan. I mean, first of all, look at this view. Second of all, it was the first time we had seen water in a few days, so it was definitely exciting to finally touch down to such a beautiful scenery. We dropped our bags off at the Airbnb, our first line of business. Hola, amigo. ¿Cuánto más el faro?
Al faro vivo, 100 pesos.
We hopped in a Pulmonia, which is the local mode of transportation, kind of like their taxi service when you're out in Mazatlan, and headed to El Faro, which is the lighthouse. Heard it was a must-see when you're in the city of Mazatlan, so we made that our first stop. It's great to be back by the ocean. That's Pacific Ocean. I think this is where the Pacific Ocean meets the Cortez Sea, right around this area, but Mazatlan has been beautiful so far. So if I didn't have my drone with me, I probably would have made the hike up to El Faro's peak. If you're in the city of Mazatlan, bring your hiking shoes, make the 30-minute hike. Trust me, it won't disappoint. One of the best vantage points of the city. All right, we are here walking the Malecon, which is basically like their strip that runs along the ocean here. Super chill vibes. We're about to pop into one of these little hut restaurants down here, as you can see. Don't mess up the groove, don't mess up the swag.
So their ceviche here they do with carrots, and it's so good. It's so refreshing. You put a little bit of this, which is specific to Mazatlan, and a little bit of lime.
All right, so we're trying to figure out if we're gonna rent these V-bikes. I'm not sure if Scoops can download the app or not. Oh, there he goes. Alright, so we download the app. The only problem is I don't understand anything that it says. Should be pretty simple. Download App Store. So one thing you gotta do while you're in Mazatlan is ride a Pulmonia, which is essentially a tuk-tuk, but with 4 wheels, and some of them are dressed up kind of nice with sound systems and whatnot people have thrown in them. They definitely feel like they have more power than a tuk-tuk. Like if the tuk-tuk and a Paloma was in a race, I feel like the Pulmonia would definitely smoke the tuk-tuk. Just my opinion though. So we continued our venture down the newly renovated Malecon. Apparently this is one of the longest boardwalks. I'm not sure if that's just in Mexico. We came across an open water cement pool, which made me really upset that I didn't have my bathing suit with me, and then made a quick detour through the historic zone, which if you enjoy colonial architecture and cobblestone streets, you definitely want to check that out. So we're still walking the Malecon. We have been walking this thing for like 3 or 4 hours. The sun has just kind of set into one of the most beautiful sunsets I've probably ever witnessed in my life. So we were here at the Clavadista, this place where they do cliff diving. Every evening at around 7 o'clock they do cliff diving. So we came here. I'm gonna try to show you guys where they dove from. So the cliff divers dive from that little pinnacle out there. So we came, we were all hyped up, and one of the guys stood on the ledge for about 15 minutes calling everybody, trying to get everybody to come, and I guess they were gonna charge people to watch him jump. Then all of a sudden he gets down, another guy goes up, jumps, but it was super dope to see. I don't know if you can see that point now. It looks like this little square here every night goes on a little, not really food court, but really just snacks, desserts, some fruits. Dope way to close out our couple days here in Mazatlan before we head down to, where are we going next? Sayulita. So tomorrow, drive about 4 or 5 hours down to Sayulita. And this is where the journey kind of starts getting really, really exciting. Up until now, we've been to places that weren't super exciting, I guess. Nothing against them, but there was just not a lot going on in the cities. Didn't really want to go out walking around with my camera too much during my time here in the Sinaloa state. This is the last stop in the Sinaloa state here in Mazatlan. So after this, hopefully I'll be able to just walk around with my camera out and just be in areas that are a little bit more comfortable to do so. Oh, you know what? I think this guy is about to jump right now. We spent about an hour more walking up and down the Malecon, and as you can see, it turned into like a family party. There was clowns walking up and down the street with balloons for the kids, live music. It was just a great time all around. Mazatlan was an unexpected treasure, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those cities I may not have seen if not on this road trip to Tulum. So grateful to have got to experience the energy. And if you're in the city, make sure you look around for some great things to do because the city has a lot to offer. All right, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We are on our way to Sayulita, and I think I'm gonna try to attempt to learn how to surf in Sayulita. So y'all gonna want to check it out, all right? Peace.